Right, hello and welcome to another episode of the Stickmen pod. I'm back today. Me and Rene are recording another episode. We did another episode last week after a bit of a break when I was in Vegas, but yeah, we're back at it. And Rene, good to see you and cheers. Happy
Hey,
Friday.
see you. Happy Friday. Nice to be here.
So yeah, as always, we just start off with how's your week been? I know you got a little bit of news, but that maybe you want to go into, but
Yeah, it's been a bit of a rough week. One of those weeks where I was to Helsinki again. Um, it was quite a I don't know, man. I like going to the office and seeing people. I went now to a different office, like one from another company where we work at, and it's very nice to see the team. You know, like it's nice because we work mostly remote, so it's nice when you see people kind of in person. It feels somehow different, even you do the same thing.
yeah, understandable.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. And I was also cleaning my apartment quite deeply, like deep cleaning, and just like fixing everything you messed up during your stay there. I've been living in that apartment for I think a bit over 4 years now. I'm moving to a new apartment.
Yeah, that's the main event news, isn't it? You're moving in with Petra, and
Yeah.
so that's going to be exciting. That's something new.
It is. It's also a bigger kitchen.
A bigger kitchen, so the more
will see
better
it.
quality on the Mexican in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Hashtag Mexican in the kitchen. So
Yeah.
production value. He's moving up. The YouTube channel's brought him to greener pastures, and he's on the up.
I'm excited about many things because I think I've been living in Finland enough that you're turning Finn, you know?
Yeah, I know
we talk
exactly
about
what you
this,
mean.
that you start having attitudes that people have here that at first were weird for you.
Yeah,
And now my apartment has a sauna.
yeah.
So now I think I'm completed.
It's the Finnish dream, isn't it?
I've earned my passport.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I remember just talking on moving. When I first moved to Finland, me and my friend Pete, who was on one of the episodes before, we rented an apartment together, and that had a sauna. And I used it a few times, and I thought it was quite nice. And my previous apartment that I rented in the centre on my own didn't have a sauna. I'll be honest, I wouldn't say I missed it so much, but we have one here. And
But what about your cats?
what do you mean?
They love
the
it.
sauna, yeah, exactly, yeah. So they use the sauna more than me. They're just sitting there, and that's why I never turn it on. But no, it is nice to have one, and it's definitely one of those things. Okay, sorry about that. We are back. I basically wanted to readjust the curtains and almost pulled the curtain down. So we are back. We have fixed the studio and we're back in action. So Rene,
It's been an hour. We almost tore down the whole thing, but
yeah, 1 week away, and I'm out of habit. So sorry, Rene, where you were, if you remember.
I think I was about to tell that the craziest thing for me about this apartment and how Finnish it is, because it's quite big. I think we got it
for sure.
I think we got it for quite cheap, considering because it's not in best condition. Like I think they fixed the floor and the walls and everything looks quite pretty. But for example, you would see the kitchen on Mexican, the kitchen. It's a bit like old fashioned and the cabinets are a bit old and but of course it's nice.
Yeah.
And it has a massive balcony and it's so Finnish in the way that it has the sauna, and then it has like two showers, like next to each other, right?
Yeah.
And here's where you see like the
his and hers.
how people think, right? That like, because I thought that it's like, well, you have two showers, you can basically shower at the same time, whatever, like be quick, and it's like it's super nice because like at least my old shower was this tiny place with the cordon that sticks on your back kind of thing, and my brain was that, right? Oh, they build it so you shower at the same time kind of thing, and like you're in the mornings if you're in a hurry, and then Petra was like, no, it's because when you have your friends over, you can just go to the sauna and stuff. I was like, my friend's over.
Yeah.
I was like, I see it, because now I have friends who invite you over for sauna and stuff. I was like, just have a beer sauna and then like chill. But I was like, that didn't even come to my mind.
Yeah.
Because the concept of I'll invite you, hey, wanna come over for sauna?
Yeah, we discussed
even
that.
Even though
before.
we're really good friends, it's odd.
It's odd for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice. We have balcony, everything that people love right here.
Yep.
Sauna, balcony, and I have my own office.
Yeah.
Which I got really excited because I'm building myself this whole like darts kind of thing. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, it sounds lovely. I've only seen the floor plan. But it looks really nice, and yeah, I'm looking forward to come around to throw some darts and yeah, maybe sauna and have a few beers. So yeah, it'd be nice. But Yeah, so you move in early next month, I believe. It's not too far.
June, yeah, I think next week I'm going to start.
Yeah, and you didn't have any complications with your landlord or whatever, at least.
He's the most chill landlord.
Yeah.
I love the guy. I've heard from him, I think, twice in the last 4 years.
That's ideal for sure, yeah.
He has heard from me maybe once or twice. I think that's the best. If you don't hear from your landlord and your landlord doesn't hear from you, that means everything's fine.
What, and your landlord didn't come round and just pull out the fridge and just find a miracle puddle in the kitchen like mine?
No, bro, no. To be fair, I think I'm one of the best, tenants you can have?
Yeah.
I think the apartment is in a way better condition than it was. Like, I was fixing like the door handles and fixing things here, cleaning things here that, those stains that stay there for ages and people think they're permanent. I was fixing a lot of that kind of thing. So
yeah.
I think we're both happy. He didn't raise the rents like in this time, and I didn't trash the place, and it's actually in a bit better condition. Yeah. As much as you can do, of course, but.
No, for sure, and that's really nice, and I think it's gonna be a really decent new chapter of your life. Yeah, living together and stuff would be really nice.
It's always exciting, a bit like you'll see what happens, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know someone until you move in.
Exactly, yeah. She's got to put up with all your shit now, all your mess, and like
that's my problem. I know how she is. I don't think I'm gonna have a problem, but
if Mila puts up with me, I'm sure you'll be fine. Yeah. But cheers to that, and we're drinking a nice little whiskey today that Rene brought back from the cruise. You went away for a cruise.
Oh, on a cruise. Yeah, we haven't talked about the cruises here, right?
Oh god, I wanted to get into that because I'm about to upset some of my Finnish fans.
They won't like it. They don't like it. But I have to say, first time I came to Finland, my ex at the time, he was like, "Oh, we have to go on the boat, because you have the language barrier, right? And English is also not my mother tongue." And they're like, "Oh yeah, we have to go on the boat. We have to go on the boat to Tallinn first." It was like to Estonia. I was like, okay, the boat, and I pictured this boat, these ferries kind of thing that's like maybe 50 people. Like, yeah, we have to go on the boat, and then we drove to Helsinki, got on the boat, and it's a cruise. I was like, this is not a boat. What do you mean it's not a boat? It's like, oh, this is a cruise.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's a boat. It's on water. And like, I was picturing something completely different in my mind.
No, I know exactly what you mean. That when what we were saying earlier, because it was for Petra's birthday, I believe. You guys went on a cruise.
Yeah, we went to Stockholm.
Yeah. So they do these cruises from Finland.
But we never set foot in Stockholm. I think that's important to say.
Yeah, massively. Like, I've only done the ones to Estonia. Actually, I say that I did do the Sweden one. But
I think those are the wild ones.
Yeah, I did the one to Sweden where. You basically, it's like 24-hour cruise, isn't it? Give or take. You sort of 12 hours there, 12 hours back, or whatever it is, and you don't get off the boat. You just basically, it's like a.
You can, because you arrive there 7 a.m. Yeah. You can spend the day there and come back, but we didn't. We just went back and forth.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I think. Yeah, that's the thing. For most people, myself included, we went with So there's the kayaker cruise. A local bar that I've got friends who own it, and once a year they invite all of their friends, usually like restaurant workers and other bar staff and stuff. They go to this cruise where they just basically a booze cruise. You just get on, you party, you drink,
like team building.
Yeah, exactly. And you just drive there and then you come back. I did that, and I remember loads of the Finns, Amelia as well, like my girlfriend. She's always like, "Oh, we should take a cruise. We should go to the Sweden cruise, or we should do this and do that." And it's like controversial opinion, but I think they fucking suck. I think like it's like you spend 24 hours literally on like a boat that has a couple of restaurants that are like bang average. And
but to be fair, I mean, in that defense, I think the boat is big enough. I didn't got this feeling of I don't know what to do next.
No,
because you kind of have the schedule made of the. You arrive to the boat, you go to your room, you set up like everything, or you might change if you want to dress a bit nicer for the whole, because I think it's a bit of a thing, and then you go for dinner, and the dinner is. I think under normal circumstances, I would like that kind of buffet a lot.
Right.
Because they have a massive table. They have everything, right?
Yeah.
They have like the fish table, and then the street food table, and then the warm food table, and then the vegan and kids, and ice cream and whatever. Like, it's massive. Like, you probably are not able to try everything. So big that it's like you can just do whatever. But having said that, I come from in Mexico, you always line up. There's always like places are very often packed, right? And you have to wait your turn and stuff. I hate that, bro. I hate that because I grew up with that. And in Finland, I love that you rarely have to make lines for anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But in that cruise, bro, that's some of the most annoying lines I've ever made.
Yeah.
Not in the cruise in general, in that buffet.
Right.
Where lovely dinner, you have this like all you can drink wine and beer and stuff, and like it's pretty decent for the price.
It's something like 38 euros or something, isn't it?
But I don't think it's insane for what
it's
you
all
get.
inclusive. Like, it's one of those things where if you drink, it's really good value because obviously it's like all you can eat or you can drink. But the only thing you can drink are beer and wine, I think.
Yeah, but the wine is not the best quality.
No, yeah.
But I was drinking this like, I don't know, 80% red wine and a splash of Coke. So you get this calimocho kind of thing.
Right, yeah.
And it's like, it's what you. I think in Spain they drink that when you're broke, kind of thing. And I mean, it's quality. Just the drinks pay for the whole thing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And the I actually, when I went there, I actually went and got they do a la carte, is it, like sort of menu as well, so you don't have to get the buffet. So I got just like a steak and whatever instead.
That's probably more reasonable.
Because I thought, I just didn't want to like say queue for the buffet, and I didn't particularly drink beer or wine, so it was kind of like I'm gonna go to just get like, I think I paid 35 euros even for the steak, so it was still expensive, like the same sort of price. But
we got this kind of like brunch the next day.
Yeah.
And it was this Happy Lobster place called Thing or whatever. And I wasn't expecting anything fancy, right? But I think for the price quality ratio was quite decent.
Yeah.
And in the brunch, we got a steak.
Oh, okay.
I got the menu, in Finnish and Swedish, and usually I have no problem, but this time I couldn't understand what it was.
Right.
I was like, I just understand that there's a vegetarian, a fish, and a beef. I'll take beef.
Yeah.
They show up with some fancy like steak and stuff. Like, this quality.
Yeah. So it's not bad. I think it's one of those things where if you go with friends, like there's nothing against. I've got nothing against it. I just kind of think that it's a very overrated experience in terms of you drive there, or you got the boat, travels to Stockholm, stops and travels back, and you sleep overnight. It's like an overnight cruise. The entertainment on board is usually like a really tragically bad band, or like
this was a fancy band that has been like 20 years around,
right?
And people were super excited. I just have never heard of it.
Nice.
But I'm not like I listen to rap and pretty much that's it.
Yeah, and then there'll be like, it's okay. It's like one of those things where it's an experience, but
it's an experience. I would say if you come to visit Finland, maybe that's not like the thing you do. But if it's your second time in Finland, or if you were planning to have a bit longer stay,
maybe, yeah.
I think that's the thing. That's like, I remember I took my mom and brother on that kind of cruise, but
right.
to Tallinn.
Yeah, I went to the Tallinn one as well.
We went for the day.
That's a bit better for sure.
And it's like, it's something you have to experience, because that's like the main thing here is that also you go to international water, so they sell
you can get the tax-free
drinks, right? So I bought a few crates of like Lonkeroa beers, and I got this like
this whiskey.
She was 18 for almost nothing, and
yeah. The I definitely recommend the Estonia one's good because it's only it's a 2-hour cruise, I think. I say cruise. It's a bit like getting the boat from England to France, whatever.
Yeah, because in that one you don't really need to buy a room, right? In this one you bought a room and you spend the night and then spend the next day coming back.
Yeah, it's nice to take the boat over to Estonia, see a bit of that place. There's obviously you can get the tax-free, or not tax-free, just the cheaper drink over there, sort of thing. Yeah. Go for a nice restaurant and then come back, kind of thing. For sure, like that. But yeah, it's definitely an experience. Just I don't know. I think one of those. I got friends that they go every year. They go on multiple cruises, like to Sweden. And I just think like it's just whatever to me. It was a bit. I think when if you're a bit younger as well, like a party cruise could be kind of fun. But it's just
there's a lot of older people as well.
They
I
seem
think the
to
middle
be
age is like the perfect what's like target for that.
Yeah, the people. I noticed the people on there are all like 18 or 55. It's sort of like for sure. But yeah,
a lot of kids running around, mate. I mean, I'm gonna tell you, I only have 2 things that I don't like about this cruise. First, the queuing. Second, the kids running around, and you can see kids running. It's a buffet, mate. Yeah. I'm walking around with my glass of wine, my like whatever, and then you have a kid running around your leg, kind of thing, and you're like, if I happen not to see you, mate, you're gone.
Yeah.
And it's like, and you see the mom, and she's not blinking an eye,
Yeah.
She sees the kid run around, and you're like, why didn't you grab your kid and sit him down?
Yeah, it's
that's the part that for me is insane. Absolutely insane.
On that note, I want to talk about make us really sound like old men now that we've complained about queuing, we've complained about kids.
I've been complaining about kids since I was 15, mate.
Yeah, exactly. So on that note, I want to bring up the key topic of this podcast, which is just So
I was triggered.
So I sent Rene a while back. I started getting him on we discussed briefly like the Piers Morgan uncensored. So the kind of I've shown you a few of those, and we've sort of touched on this topic that we tend to rarely disagree with the things he says, and he just seems to
we don't agree with his way, but we agree with his way of thinking.
Yeah, like generally he's not out of line because I said to just really briefly go back onto it, like. The first few things I've seen from him have been like Twitter posts where people are like really like ripping into him.
People don't like him, right?
Yeah, they hate him.
Well, people have to like him because he's still stellar, kind of like prime time kind of thing, right?
Yeah, I think people like to listen to what he's got to say, but it's one of those sort of like not a guilty pleasure, but it's kind of like people won't admit they're a Piers Morgan fan. It's a bit like Jordan Peterson or like.
And I also think he's the kind of person that you don't have you love him or you hate him.
Yeah, that's the
There's
Marmite.
No kind of like
we discussed.
real,
yeah, for sure. So it's like he's one of those guys where and I like listening to his content because it's just good content, right? It's always quite controversial or like really interesting topics and issues, and he has very contrasting guests and opinions on, and hosts relatively. I mean, the debates are pretty trash. Like a lot of the people he has on are just like brats, basically, that won't. Yeah.
But the reason why I like him is because I relate a lot to him in the sense that he chooses reason and logic over feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
And I relate a lot to that. And people don't always love it when you are like that. Like if you are objective and you just say like, okay, logically this is what happens, that makes a lot of people angry.
Yeah, definitely. It's in that a lot of the people that he has on to sort of discuss and debate with, they do argue or debate emotionally. They'll say like he'll have a vegan on, and they'll talk about being a vegan, and even if they've got valid points, they often don't really portray them or sort of like they don't really get across their point in a very like eloquent way because they just get like wrapped up in their emotion and things like that and stuff. But the point sort of here is that I've sort of been sort of generally saying to Rene, like, these are quite interesting topics. And even for like the podcast, it's like we could talk about a few of these because some of these topics are relatively interesting talking points. And Rene actually sent me a link to a Piers Morgan a couple of days ago. Yeah. So I was proud of that already. So I was like, that was a good win. And then, but the one he sent, I was like, brilliant. I'll give it a watch and we'll have a little bit of a chat of that. And it gave me just a topic that I wanted to talk about. We've already talked previously about one of our early episodes where I sort of said I don't really use Facebook anymore. And for a number of reasons, but mostly I think it's a bit of a time sink. Like there's already enough things in my life that waste my time. Just scrolling people that I don't care about anymore, where they've gone on holiday, where they've gone for dinner, like if it's their kid's birthday.
You always like my post, mate.
True that, but but yeah. So like if it's a case of like a person you went to high school with, their 7-year-old kid's birthday party, like I don't care about seeing that, right? There's nothing against them. It's just it's not really a good use of my time, sort of thing. And likewise, I said to you, whenever I did any posting on social media, and specifically Facebook, I just noticed whenever you'd post, like, I don't know, I'm here with friends, you'd get spammed with messages of people going, oh, are you still there? I can stop by, or can I do this? And I just sort of stopped that. But I also just have a general, like, I don't really like the kind of social media sort of world we sort of live in, and this kind of somewhat backs up my point, really, or the way I feel about it. So
like the attention seeking kind of thing.
Yeah, this like do anything for clicks mentality kind of thing. It just which you could argue, well, you started a fucking podcast, which is fair, but the point is I do this because I enjoy it, right? And we do it because we want to talk about things, but we
already do. We just recorded.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and we don't have tons of followers. We don't Yeah, exactly. We don't have a big fan base. We're not like trying to promote it. We're just doing it for a bit of fun, and it's like that. But the point is, when people have got like TikToks and they're doing like TikTok trends, and they're like, oh, this is trending. This. I just kind of find it a bit annoying. Like I say, I sound like an old man. But to get to the point of this main person in question, there's a guy called, I think I'll put the link of the video in question, the Piers Morgan Uncensored. I'll put it in the description. So for any of you that are interested to sort of to get your own opinion on this,
please watch it and get triggered.
Yeah,
because I cannot be the only one.
Yeah, so this guy, I don't know the guy's name is like Mizzy or something, and he's a TikToker. He's a TikToker, right? Some of you might have heard of him. I live under a rock. I've never fucking heard of the dude. But what he's like a self-proclaimed like TikTok prankster, I think is what he put himself as.
Yeah, we have one of those in Mexico.
Right.
And people love him, and I'm like, I don't understand why. Because he's not funny.
No, it's not, and that's what I want to sort of get into is that. So what this guy does is he goes around, he records everything, and he just pranks people, right? And you'd be like, well, what's a prank? It depends what he does. One of the things, the main one that he did that I've just found was ridiculous is he goes up. There's an old woman sat on a bench in the park with their dog, and he just goes up to her. And he steals the dog, and he has it under his arm, and he just runs off with the dog, and he's got like this video, and he's laughing, and he steals this old woman's dog, right? Obviously, it's a prank. Obviously, he gives it back, but this woman's like 80 years old, right? Maybe like 75, 80 years old. It's like you give that woman a fucking heart attack, like, and it's like, and it's not funny. I don't care, like, you could say, well, humor's subjective, but
I think he makes it as like, oh, I'm just being funny. It's like the excuse, but I think he knows if I do things that are outrageous,
I'll
I
get
get
clicks.
kicks. Because the thing is that people don't understand, and this is why these kind of people get big, right? People don't understand. You go into whatever kind of Facebook post that makes people angry.
Yeah.
And the best way to do that is you skip through it. You don't spend much time on it. You just like scroll by, or you click. I think in some places you can click and be like, I don't want to see posts like this.
Yeah.
That's the way to handle them.
But what people do is
people don't
just
understand how internet works. So they kind of like react with the I'm angry, and then they're or they're laughing, or like you're a clown kind of thing, and then they comment, oh, I think this guy's an idiot. I don't know why people are looking at him.
And it's just
like, because you're giving him interactions, mate, and that shows him more.
Yeah.
Are you dumb?
But
Like you're basically giving him what he wants. It's interactions which like translate into money.
And that's what he says on this video. Is Piers makes a point of like, why do you do the things you do? Like people end up like giving you hate on the internet, and he says like, all publicity is good publicity. If anyone writes on there, how could you like you steal the granny's dog, right? And everyone's like, most people don't find that funny. Most people are like, that you're a complete like dick. Like, why would you do that? That woman could have a heart attack. You could really cause that person some trouble, and you're just being a fucking cunt all around, right? It's like, he says like, oh, but that's the thing, Piers. Like, it's all clicks. It's all clicks. As long as if they're raging at me in the comments, that's all still like dollar signs. Whatever.
He says like you can get big by being good or bad.
Yeah.
Why do you choose to be
but
bad?
It's a lot easier.
It's easier.
Yeah, exactly. He says it's a lot easier to be outrageous than it is to be like talented, which is true, right? But so that's the main one that he did that I found.
That I found annoying. I think the biggest one, that why he got attention and why now they closed everything, is because he just broke into the house.
Yeah.
And what for me it's insane, because this would only happen. He must have done it in a posh neighborhood in the UK.
Yeah, because that was my
you do that in Mexico.
I thought that was in the US, you just get shot or whatever.
Dude, I used to sleep under my bed. There was this size knife.
Yeah,
it's like, if you do that in my house, you're done.
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna wait to see if you're a threat or not.
Well, the first thing was he did it in like broad daylight in like pretty well off London, I think. And
dude, but like,
and I think he must have scouted the house, because I think even in England, right, where you don't have guns and stuff, it's like if you break into someone's house like in the middle of the night, there's a decent chance that the person who lives there is gonna have a like say a knife or a baseball bat or something or whatever, and just you break in at night time, someone is gonna defend themselves, right, or whatever. So, but he to sort of like define this for those of you that haven't seen, he walks into somebody's house. He just goes through the front door, goes up the stairs, whatever, and there's like a husband and wife and maybe there are a couple of kids there, and he just starts walking around the house. And he's recording this whole thing on like a GoPro, or probably just his phone, actually, whatever. And he basically says like, when the woman sort of gets a bit scared and says, oh, I think there's someone upstairs, and the husband or whatever comes up to check it out, he just he sort of like, this thing that almost annoys me is it's like, you're a prankster, but you don't like follow through with it, right? He kind of bottles it, where the guy comes to him and he just sort of says, oh, hey, is this where the study group is? And like, he kind of bottles it. Isn't like, you've broken in someone's house, you're trying to be a big guy and all like, oh, look at me, I'm doing this for clicks. And then when the guy's like, what the fuck, there's an intruder in my house, and goes to sort of check it out, you start to be all like, you make sure you're very not hostile, and you're like, oh, is this where the study group is? I've come here for the study group.
What can happen.
So it's like, but it's like, to me, it's like, if you're gonna be an arsehole, like don't bottle it, right? Don't kind of. So he did that as well, and that's where he got this fine for. They basically this is what the whole episode on Piers Morgan was about. Is he got fined something like £360, which is obviously nothing, and some kind of like thing where he can't post videos of anyone without their permission anymore. Some like not restraining order, but the sort of thing like
slap on the wrist, basically.
Yeah, exactly, like a slap on the wrist. And Piers sort of brought one like, you're being an asshole basically, and like this isn't fair punishment. And the guy says, like, understandably, he's like, well, yeah, the UK legal system's a joke, or it's weak or something. And the thing is, right, and I want to sort of get more into the kid as an attitude, right? Because there's a few things where the guy's clearly a fucking absolute like idiot, right? But he made one comment. He almost got. Like, I was never going to be on his side. He stole an old woman's dog, right? He's always like going to be my enemy in this argument. But the one thing he was starting to like get me to at least respect him in some regard when he said. So Piers Morgan rattles off a couple of the crimes or the pranks that he did, right? So it was like steal the woman's dog, arsehole, breaking someone's house, arsehole, right? One of them is he did this thing where he does a leapfrog over. So a dude, like, you put your hands on someone's shoulders and you like push yourself over to jump over them, right? It was apparently like a trending thing on TikTok and where people were going around doing it, right? And he did it to some guy, right? And the guy was an Orthodox Jew, so the people that have like, like the top hat and the long black coat and stuff, right?
The curls here.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah. And so basically, but Piers made a point. He was like, you do this, you steal a woman's dog, you're terrorizing a Jewish man or whatever and stuff. And the guy like sort of snaps at him and says, Piers, like, why do you keep saying? Why does it matter? Why do you keep saying that he's a Jew, like Jewish man? Like, it doesn't matter that he's Jewish. He's like, I don't discriminate against anyone. I didn't do it because he's Jewish. I did it because, and he probably did slightly because it gets more clicks.
I find
yeah, of course.
hard to believe, dude. That he didn't say like, oh, this guy's an Orthodox Jew. I don't know how often you see those in the UK.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You know what I mean? But
it gets more clicks.
You see them in Mexico, but like not very often.
But I guess his point could be, even though it was better content, he wasn't discriminating against the guy, for being a Jewish person. He wasn't like I said, he was
looking
anyone.
for someone. I'll do it to someone that's a bit more notable.
But so he said, so when he sort of said that, and it's like, I thought, well, fair play. He's basically saying, look, I'm an arsehole, but I'm an indiscriminate arsehole. I'll prank anyone. I'm not like going out of my way to prank certain people and stuff. I was like, okay, fair enough. It's a valid point that he made. And then but then he lost any semblance of respect that I had for him when Piers said to him, okay, well, what do your family think about all this and stuff?
Oh no, because the guy said like, you don't know about my life. You cannot say
That's
I'm an
it.
asshole.
And he goes, okay, tell me about your life.
Tell me about your life.
And then he says, well, why'd you ask me about my life? Is it because I'm black? And it was like, hold the fuck on, man. Like, you literally just, won a bit of respect from me from saying, Piers, why do you keep bringing up the fact that he's a Jewish person? It's irrelevant. I was just pranking somebody. I don't discriminate on who they are. I was like, fair fucking point, right? And then when he goes, when Piers said, you have no remorse, you have no blah, 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 he was like, how do you know? You don't know my life. You don't know this. And Piers says, okay, tell me about your life. What do you mean, tell me about life? Why are you asking me about my life? Is it because I'm black? And it was such a stupid argument to make. And Piers just said, obviously didn't say these words, but it was sort of like, what the fuck are you on about? I don't care about the color of your skin. I want to know why you're a fucking moron. And he doesn't. Obviously, that was not verbatim quote on national television, but he made it's just like you're a fucking idiot. And I don't think that because you're black. I think that because you're stealing people's dogs, breaking into their houses, and jumping over them in the street.
For me, it's crazy because like, I'm Mexican living in a predominantly white country kind of thing, right? And I don't think that I've ever once even thought of pulling the race card.
Yeah.
Not even one, because for me that's such a weak kind of. If you're being racist kind of thing, I'll call you out.
Yeah.
But just pulling the race card out of nowhere.
For no reason, yeah.
For me, if you do that, you lose kind of like. You are doing a disservice.
Yeah.
The people that actually
100%,
try to like
yeah.
do things that are actually in the correct path to eliminate racism and stuff. You're just kind of like
or anybody who actually has suffered like racial abuse. You're
kind of taking away from that kind of fight.
Yeah,
and it's like the only time I pulled the race card, but it was because I was trying to be funny, and I was. Just the other person didn't thought about it, but I had fun because. You tell me if I was funny or not.
All right, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on this one, but
we were having a few drinks around Tampere. Like I don't know, we were in a bar or whatever. I don't remember what the event was, or I think it was the Puisto Reggae. We were drinking. It was summer. We're drinking on the city, and I was like, "Hey, it's getting late. It's like 6-7 p.m. I think I'm gonna go home now and like call it a night." I have been later, because there's light, but it's summer.
Right.
I don't know. The time is not important. But anyway, I'm going home. I'm a bit drunk. And it's like, oh man. But I was with Rufus. He's African American, and we're in the corner of Sokos and Hamenkatu, right? It's like 1 block away from the city center.
Mm.
And then we're just standing there because that's where our paths go apart, right? He has to go left and I have to go right. I live a couple blocks away from there. And we're just talking a bit, like just trying to like wrap it up. And then some girl comes to us. It's like, hey guys, do you sell weed? And bro, it cracks me up first of all, right? But you're trying to keep a poker face. I'm like, no, I don't have. Oh, really? You don't sell weed? You're not selling weed? I'm like, no. But can I ask you something? She's like, yeah, tell me. She's wasted. But she's like mid-30s probably. She's like, yeah? Can I ask you something? And you'll be totally honest. Yeah, tell me. You thought we were selling weed. Is it because he's black or because I'm Mexican? Bro, Rufus laughed a lot.
Yeah.
It killed me. Like, I could barely finish that sentence. I thought it was very funny.
Yeah.
She didn't think that.
Yeah, she probably like just panicked and ran away at that point.
No, I think she ended up staying like they're like having a chat with Rufus, and I don't know.
Try to make sure. I'm not racist. I'm gonna talk to you.
I think later they went for drinks and stuff, and like everything was fine. But she didn't think I was
Go on,
funny.
Rufus.
I thought it was very funny.
I like it.
Yeah. Not the audience.
No, sometimes it's the wrong crowd, and that's their fault, not ours. You know? So yeah, it's a bit like this podcast. You know, it's we're actually hilarious and very insightful. It's just the world hasn't seen us yet. So.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what can you do?
Yeah. So this guy was just a complete idiot, and I think it just sort of got me thinking more about just influences in general, right? And like, remember I was saying this to you when we went for dinner. I was like, you know, we do sound like old men when I say like when you're a kid and your dream was to be like a professional basketball player or a professional footballer or a rock star or you know like
that. Want to be an army pilot.
Army pilot. There you go. Right. So like. I actually wanted to be a pilot at one point, back in the day. So yeah, I think all boys at some point in their life
wanted to blow stuff.
Wanted to be a pilot of some kind of thing. But the yeah, you know, like the kind of part of being a child, right, is aspiring to be something
else.
Yeah, to be something that's really hard to be, like a professional footballer or a basketball player or whatever and stuff like that. But I feel like kids like these days, which I say like do sound like an old man, that they want to be influencers. They want to be TikTokers. Right? And it's just like it's fucking mad because to me it's like none of the content is original as well. That's the thing. It's just like they all just like do the same shit and the same trends, and it's just like I had a friend that like she would put Instagram posts, right? And I remember saying to her, this was years and years back, like. Really, really close friend, like lovely girl, and she would do like an Instagram post. So she'd just take, I don't know, like not a selfie, but some kind of picture somewhere, and then she'd put like a caption with it. And and I'd be like, oh, I'd read it and I'd like it, and I'd be like, oh, it's interesting. Next week or so, she'd do another one, and so on and so forth, and like it would go on, right? I remember like, go for coffee with her like at some point, and I'd be like, all these Instagram posts, like, where'd you get these? How come she have these like random like so one of them would be like they would be quite funny,
like insight and funny thing.
Yeah. So for example, one of them I remembered like she was single at the time, and it would be a post would be like something just literally like a random selfie of her just wearing like a new hoodie or whatever and stuff, right, in her apartment, and the caption would say something like, if the relationship doesn't work, don't blame him, it takes two, blame him and his mama, right? Which I think is really funny, right? And I'd say to her, I was like, yeah, fair enough. And she'd have loads of that. I'd say, how'd you come up with these like things? She's like, oh, I just Google them. I was like, what do you mean you Google them? She's like, I just Google like Instagram captions or whatever. And she says, and it's like, I'm like, so you're posting these things that aren't even original. They're like, 12 other and or she says,
mate, that works.
And she had no shame in it. Like she'd say like, oh no, this girl I follow on, she follows an influencer who's got 10 million followers or whatever, and she puts that, and then they just put the same caption.
That's like, what I mean. That's why you have TikTokers doing the same jokes. They just act them on their own way, but it's the same joke.
Yeah.
And they all do the same, and they all do the same lip sync, and then you have people.
Oh, the lip syncs are the worst. The lip syncs are the one.
You have people that go massive by doing nothing.
I cannot stand the one like my biggest like hate or pet peeve, if you will, on TikTok are the people that do like the voiceovers. So it would be like, they'll lip sync, like you say. They'll be like, I don't know, some famous thing from a movie or whatever, and it'll be like, and they act both parts, right?
I think for that you at least have to have charisma.
I think you need more of a life.
100%.
It's just like,
but even for that you need charisma, right? Because if you don't have like something, there's this girl I've seen do that makes like big faces and a lot of expressions, and you're like, I can tell that she has something special, right? She does these like very expressive faces. Which personally I can't. I was like, I see why people like her.
right, yeah.
My worst in TikTok. I don't know if because you don't. I know you don't
I
scroll
don't have
TikTok.
it, no. I have it for our channel, but I don't know.
You have these influencers that they're big on some niche kind of thing,
Right.
and then they're like, I don't know, a doctor, and then all he does is he goes through medical TikToks, decides, oh, I think this is true,
Okay.
and then they split it, and half of this is like the medical video, this is the doctor. The video is like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
2 minutes is the video going on. You hear the video, you hear everything, and then on the other half you have the doctor. They're like, you're not doing nothing, mate. You're pointing at the screen. 2 minutes.
It's mental.
And then it's like 3 million views. I'm like, how the hell? How the hell?
Nah, the two I can't stand. The two I can't stand are like, there's two, I've seen them mostly on YouTube, and then I've got like friends of friends that kind of do them, and it's just cringe as fuck. Like grown men, and they do like I can't even do an impression of it. It's just like, it will be a guy, and it'll be like, can't think of a good example, but it'll be something like, oh yeah, did you see John today? And then he like turns the other way, and it's like he's pretending to be the other guy. He's like, no, I didn't see John. What happened? He's like, yeah, he broke up with his wife, and it's like turns back, oh. And it will go on, and it's like, and it's never funny. It's never in the slightest bit amusing, and it's just like, and and it's like, when they're like, to make you sure that they're playing a different character, one of them be like wearing a hat or something, and one of them won't, and it's just like, it's like you're 20, and be like, you're 30 years old, and you're a man, and you're a 30-year-old man, and you're just like, and I'm sort of digressing here, but a friend of mine dated off a girl off Tinder, and she was like 32, and she used to send him her TikToks, and she was, like, let's just say she wasn't like a Instagram influencer body kind of girl. She was just like a more average bodied person, right? And she'd wear these tiny little hot pants and like
but I
a
think
vest top, and she'd do this like dance where she'd do these TikTok dance that these girls that are like, the cheerleader bikini bodies doing.
But mate, there's these things. Here's the thing, right? There's an audience for everyone. I think if you find your audience, you can get massive. Because for example, I have my cooking channel, right?
Mm.
I've been doing it for like 3 years. I just do it for fun because I love cooking, and I like, for example, nowadays when I used to cook like for a friend or whatever, it's like, oh man, this is so good. Like, how did you do it? And it always happened, right? Because I always cooked things that are very different to what people are used to here.
Mm.
And I started the channel because of that. Because I was like, oh, I'll just make these recipes, mate. And if someone asks, then check the video. And it just started getting traction, like, slowly. And now it has, like, I think 3,000 people, which is not much for YouTube. But, when you think about 3,000 people think your content is worth, it's quite a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I constantly, now I have a few that you can recognize every time when they comment.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's
the
this
regulars
guy
and
again,
stuff, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And your mom, for example, comments often. And
Oh,
it's
she's
like,
a big fan of the channel. Yeah.
And
Doesn't even watch my podcast, but
Mate,
Rene's cooking channels.
when I see she commented, like, I immediately will go and like answer, right? Like, it's because it's like one of those that watch you all the time, and but it's quite a big, it's quite a kind of niche of like, I'm cooking with ingredients outside of Mexico. I'm cooking mostly Mexican food, but I also cook Finnish food. I cook like, and it's 3,000 because I don't like advertise it a lot, and maybe I just haven't found exactly like the audience that would watch it. I don't know. But then you have these people. There was this like I don't know, remember where was the woman from, but she's a girl, and she acts like a dog. Like, she's on a leash, and she behaves completely like dog, like whatever a dog would do, kind of thing, and plays fetch and this kind of thing. And her whole thing is, I act like a dog. And then
This went off at a tangent. I was listening 1 minute about your channel, the cooking channel.
No.
I thought did she follow your channel? Or?
No.
Okay.
But like, what I mean is like when you find your audience, right?
Okay.
Because for me, I clearly have some audience.
Your niche is people.
But it's not massive.
Yep.
Her thing is like
People that
I
want.
behave like a dog. In my eyes, It's like that's nothing I would be interested of. It's like, why would I click on a grown woman, 30s, 40s, acting like a dog? That makes no sense. If I see a guy cooking Mexican food with ingredients in Europe, mate, that's clearly great, right?
Yeah.
But she has millions of followers. Millions.
Is she attractive?
And then she opened. I don't really know because I just saw the note. I don't remember. She might be.
Right. So.
But then she opened her kind of like. I don't even know if it was OnlyFans. Probably because this is
OnlyFans.
This is way back.
Dressed as a dog.
No, but it was not probably OnlyFans. It was like a Patreon or something.
Right.
And then she made hundreds of like millions, like kind of thing. And I was like, what my whole point is nowadays, whatever you do, there's an audience, mate. There's an audience. You just have to find it. And if you're lucky enough to find the people that click on it, or you have a video that goes viral,
I don't disagree.
You can do it without doing whatever. And
I don't disagree. I guess my issue with it, right, is like, what does the world look like, right? If we live in a world where like everyone's just pumping out the same shitty content, right? Everyone's just doing like, there's like, I can't stand the word like TikTok trend, right? Or the phrase, because it's like, and this is what the guy said about when Piers asked the dude, like Mizzy guy, whatever, why did you do it? He's like, it was a trend. It was a TikTok trend. It's like, right, so you leapfrog over a dude because it was trending. Like, yeah, that was what was getting clicks. That's what. It's just like that to me is mad. It's like, so you're not trying to come up with. You're not even. We're just.
Yeah, just see what's
like.
What's
We're not even trying to like innovate anymore or like create anything that's like genuine talent or like anything that's like a bit of art kind of thing in some regard. We're just saying, oh yeah, dressing as a dog is getting clicked. I'll dress as a dog, and that's my sort of argument. When you get these people that like. They're doing these like, oh yeah, so it's been one of the TikTokers I watched has 20 million views, or I don't know what even a lot of views is on TikTok, but like, oh yeah, he did this thing where he did like a two-way conversation where he pretends to be both people, and one of them he wears a hat, one of them he doesn't wear a hat, and it's like you haven't come up with the conversation, you haven't come up with any of the content, you've just basically mimicked it, right? And it's the same as those, like I say, those voiceovers where people, or the lip syncs where they go, there was one where it's like there was one that it's like I don't know what film it's from, or it's from something where the woman is having a conversation with her daughter. It's like a British woman, and she says, "Mum, what's an alcohol?" And as the girl was like pouring like a glass of Jack Daniels there, she's like, "Mummy, what's an alcoholic?" And she says, "Well, dear, like you see those those three magpies out there. An alcoholic would see four or something." And she goes, "Mummy, there's only one out there," or whatever, that kind of thing. It's like moderately amusing, but again, it's like you just saw that on TikTok and you just did it. It's like if I do it, it's just like I don't understand I get what you're saying. You're saying there's an audience for everyone. The woman who's dressing as a dog, there's people that want to watch her dress as a dog, but
there's not even for everyone in the sense of like, because the problem is, or not the problem, but like, what I mean is, you create that.
Yeah.
You create something. And I copy you all the time. Bam, bam, bam. If my video happens to become viral and more people see my video, no one's gonna care about you.
Yeah,
no one's gonna care that you were the first one who made it. And I think that's mostly this kind of thing of like, there's a trend, people jump into the trend, and then they're hoping like, eventually someone might be like, oh, I see the trend. Oh, they're jumping on people. Let's see these videos. Oh, who's this guy, Missy or whatever? What's his name? Some people might be like, oh, this guy is outrageous, and keep watching, and I hate this guy. But meanwhile, you just give him clicks, and now your algorithm will show it every time. And so it's like this dangerous thing where like, I think the problem, like a big problem, is that people don't understand that if you give attention to someone because you hate him,
any attention is good for them.
You're still generating traffic and content and clicks, and that's not the way to go in social media if you don't like someone.
Yeah.
Complaining to someone about, I don't like you, I think you're an idiot, that's exactly the opposite of what you want.
I guess my argument, my sort of, not my argument, it's just an opinion, right? It's like, I guess my issue is like almost bringing it back to my friend that would put like the catchy like taglines with their post. To me, it's like, it's just an opinion, right? But it's like, if you want to post, if you're bored at home and you want to post a selfie of yourself on your Instagram, you think you're taking a few nice pictures and you want to post them, like, I have no problem with that. But like in my head, it's like, well, just be original about it, right? Just post the picture and be like, I don't know, happy Thursday, or like, or not, you don't even need a caption. You don't need or if you. My argument is almost like, if you can't come up with your own catchy tagline, why Google them? Why find what's a catchy tagline for?
But I think you kind of answered yourself. Where I wonder how many of those stories and posts you saw before you asked.
How do you mean?
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how many of posts or stories or whatever she made you saw and you keep liking. Like, oh, this girl is funny.
Yeah, but she was my friend out of Instagram, so it's like we would go for. It only came up where I'd ask her at coffee or whatever, or like I'd be like, so what's this? These funny things you put? Like she's like, oh yeah, I just Google them, or an influencer I follow.
Yeah, but what I mean, like you saw her because you knew her.
Yeah.
How many followers she had? Do you remember?
None, not really. Isn't like not a lot.
But let's say she has 200.
Yeah.
You went out with her, kind of thing. Grab a coffee, ask her like, oh, what about these? And she's like, I just copied them. Maybe 199 of those followers believes she's very funny, and she's the one who's making that.
Yeah,
because the internet is so big that you might bump into a repeated content from time to time, but it might also be that you don't.
I totally get that.
You know what I mean? Like I think that's why I think people grow.
But to me, I still think it's flawed in the sense of like, but like a business model, if you will, for lack of a better word, to be like, if I can pump out other people's content because the world's big enough that some people will think it's my own, is just a really bad like take, right?
It clearly works.
But again,
I agree. I agree with,
and again,
with what you mean.
If her goal was to be an Instagram influencer, then I somewhat understand it as a strategy. But when it's not a strategy, if it's just, I'm not singling out this person because I see it like everywhere. It's this kind of what happened to, like, you know, I guess the world in that regard, where it used to just be you'd take a selfie and put it on Facebook and a few of your friends would like it, but now you want recognition from strangers, right? It's the same as like we say about the people that go to like the gym. Like there was the bit of the controversy recently with the girl that like goes to the gym and streams her sessions in the gym, and then complained about guys watching her in the gym, and everyone backlashed and said they weren't perving on her.
That gives clicks.
Yeah.
And I think that backfired a bit for her, for example.
Oh, massively, yeah. She got pretty much cancelled from it.
But it became like a trend for a while that people were doing that.
Yeah. People would do that.
Because it gets you click, it gets people outraged. It gets people outraged in both ways. The people who believe you, they're like, oh yeah, pervert kind of thing. And the people who don't believe you, it's like, oh yeah, you're just like doing this for clicks.
Yeah,
and whatever the reason is, you're still getting massive amount of clicks.
Yeah, I think it was more a case of they didn't think it would backfire they didn't think it was so much the negative views are still clicks. They thought most people, because it was very much like following all this Me Too movement and things like that, right? That it was kind of a case of go to the gym and I can just basically say this guy's perving on me and instantly the guy's like an animal, right? And I think basically people just got a little bit sick of that, of like this video would clearly show you're streaming in the gym. You're on a squat. You're on like a deadlift platform.
You shouldn't be.
You shouldn't be allowed to do that because you shouldn't be able to have the other people in the gym in your video, right?
Yes.
But you're streaming that. You're doing a weird exercise with like thrusts or whatever on a deadlift platform. So you're not even if the guy's looking over, it's because you're doing a weird exercise on the wrong apparatus, right?
Yeah.
And then when in between, I mean, you're the only other person in the gym, and you've got a fucking tripod and a GoPro, and he's looking over like. That's odd, right? That is odd behavior.
Yes.
So he's looking over like that, and then you're just going, "Oh my god, this is why." And then she made this whole thing of like, "This is why I get anxiety. I hate like you don't have anxiety. You're fucking streaming in a gym to like 3,000 people on the internet. You don't have."
It's like me, for example. This hits kind of like when people stare at you, and I think you can tell. It's very easy to tell how people are staring at you, because I get a lot of staring. Even in Mexico, I got a lot of staring. Man, I'm quite big. For Mexico, I'm like extremely large, like big and tall. And here, I clearly look different. And here in Tampere, of course, the bigger cities, like in Helsinki, people don't look at you at all. You're like, there's a lot of, it's very multicultural.
Yeah.
Like you're average, right? You're one more. Here in Tampere, there's a lot of multicultural university students. People might notice you. We've had that in a bar that like. Someone makes a joke like, oh, because he's Mexican, and then you get people coming to me like, oh, you're from Mexico and this and that. You get attention just because you're different, right? And then, but I've been to smaller towns. I don't know if you've been. You probably have. Like if you go to Kangasala and small.
Yeah.
Like it's even not that far away from here, right?
To that Orivesi as well.
Orivesi, I went there to play darts at the league game, and that was something. But you're different, right? For example, when I went to Orivesi. I'm the only non-white person there. in the bar and in the darts league. Probably, I don't know. At least I haven't met anyone else that's not white. And then of course, people are like looking at you like, who's this guy? And then everyone has Finnish names or like maybe like from the area, and then there's like a Latin name, and they're like, who the hell's this guy? It doesn't mean people are staring at you because like, oh, they hate you or they're whatever, right? It's like, who the fuck is this guy?
It's unusual, yeah. It's the same as like...
I would stare if in Mexico you walk in, right?
Yeah.
Who the fuck's this guy? Like, and then I see your name, Luke Martin. Like, who the fuck's this?
Yeah, definitely. It's the same as like, you know, it's annoying. Like quite often, even myself in a bar in Tampa, or like I order a drink with a British accent or whatever, and then some drunken dude from it's like, oh, where are you from? And he comes over and he starts wanting, because he's from Finland. He wants to talk English. He's had 8 beers and suddenly I'm his best friend, right? And it's like, and it's nice, right? There's nothing wrong with it, but you do get that. But it's not a case of like, you know what I mean? It's the same thing. It's like if a British girl walked in and did the same thing, she'd get looked at mostly because, oh, it's a British person. It's unusual, right? But then if she started streaming herself ordering a drink, and then when she got looks from people going, pervert, he's a pervert. It's like, this is why I don't like to go. It's like, what do you mean this isn't what you're literally wearing hot pants and a vest top in the gym, doing thrusting exercises on basically a deadlift platform, streaming it to 1,000 internet strangers, complaining about the one guy in the back of the gym looking over, going, "That's a bit weird."
Yeah,
like it's just fucking madness. Yeah. So it's like, but I'm kind of glad that stuff got kind of shot down pretty quickly. There was quite, like you say, a bit of a trend of people doing that. Oh, men are perverts, and it was like, stop streaming in the gym.
There was this, like, having said that, I think there's good trends.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've I don't know if that's a trend. I haven't. I think at least I have seen a couple more people doing the same. I don't know if you've seen this, because I started doing, like, a couple of years ago. I started going to the gym quite a lot and like really studying the exercises and the best routine and these kind of things. And I bumped into this guy. I think I still follow this Joey's Bull. He's a massive dude. Like, I think he's American.
Right.
Massive dude. Where he just like basically he reacts to those videos,
right? Yeah.
And then he's like, "Yeah, you're wrong, and you should be ashamed because like the gym culture is like we all support each other and this kind of thing." And basically he smashes people, and then he really kind of roasts people of like, "Oh, this was wrong. I don't know what's the word, but he really goes at them like, you're wrong because of this and this, and you should respect and this kind of thing." Yeah, and he has such a massive base that then. Very often, if you post a video making fun of someone in the gym, his community kind of goes and
attacks.
You end up closing your account because, which I don't know if it's good, mate. Like, I think we're back to the same topic of like, is that better than
like the mob mentality?
Yeah, is that better than lapidating someone on the central square?
Is it better than what? Sorry,
like throwing rocks at someone at the central square. It feels like it's the same kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
It's on the internet, but at the same time. If the trend is doing that on people who are shaming others, is that wrong?
Yeah, I sort of feel like a self-governing like society is good in some ways, and that's kind of the issue. Like, one last comment I'll make on the girls in the gym streaming thing, that I just cannot get over, like, almost like the irony of it, of like you're streaming. Like, there are 3,000 people, let's say, or I think one of these people that had like 20,000 people watching their stream, right? There are 20,000 people watching you work out in the gym. Who the fuck do you think those people are who are watching you? They're a bunch of pervy men, right? They're watching you.
I think they're trying to improve their form.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Exactly, right. And you're literally complaining about a dude working out in the gym because he's looking over at you. It's like, you don't see the irony in that, like that you're happy to stream for a bunch of people who you can't see in the comfort of their own home, potentially doing all sorts of things to themselves, right, with the curtain shut, right? But that's fine. But
he's not in the gym.
But the guy in the gym who's looking over, like, why has she got a tripod in the middle of that squat rack, or whatever? It's just,
I've also been that guy in the gym that you're staring at someone. It's like, been there 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Man. Get the fuck out.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
You're waiting for the machine, right?
I'm looking for those. I want that 25 plate when you're done. Yeah.
Fucking hell, mate. Like, and then they're like, you're staring at me. It's like, I'm waiting for you to end your, like, you know,
your 1 hour 30.
Your third rep on that like machine.
Yeah.
Like with the
15-minute rest times.
Yeah. So I don't know. I must say, like, I feel especially a bit like with that gym one, because it's very often that people don't feel good of going to the gym, especially if you're out of shape, right? I used to go to this like well, I haven't been lately, but I used to go to this gym downtown that everyone there is ripped. And it's like all these kind of like the
The one at
gladiators used
WFC?
to, yeah,
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
gladiators were. It was around the corner, right? So it's like, and I love the gym. To be honest, the atmosphere is really good. Contrary to what people might think of, like everyone's. Oh, should we fix that? Like, I think
Sorry,
you
yeah.
have to block the.
There we go. Perfect. Yeah.
Contrary to what people might believe, everyone there being raped and everything. I just had a couple encounters with a guy that's just annoying as fuck. The kind of guy that I'm using these 4 machines at the same time.
Yeah.
kind
Oh
of thing.
god.
And I was
Yeah.
like,
I'm super saying.
you're not worth it.
I'm hitting
mate.
back and buys, but like yeah.
yeah. Are you using the? Yeah. It's like, you answer me yes or no, or like, can you speak, mate? Like, what the fuck are you doing? But other than that, everyone else is super nice, man. Like,
yeah.
like the culture on that people that are really focused on their training, the culture there is massively respectful.
But I did notice. I used to. That was my local gym before I moved over here, and I did notice that, like, you know, how harsh as it sounds, mostly girls. Like, so many girls in there, like, spent more time taking photos of themselves than lifting
100%.
weights. I remember one girl in there, like, she took a pair of high heels with her. She's wearing like yoga pants and the vest top. Does her workout, but had a pair of like a water bottle, a towel, and a pair of high heels that she would put on mid sets or whatever to take the pictures, because obviously I don't know, it makes the curves look, but I don't know why, but probably those reasons.
The posture
right?
makes it like
Yeah. So she was like wearing high heels in the gym, like
the thing
between
is that
sets.
there's a lot of like
Bikini fitness models. Yeah. I get that,
and I've seen I've been training there, and they're having the kind of like the session where they're not really training.
Yeah.
They're just learning the posing and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that's a proper
sport for sure.
It feels weird when you are there, mate, and you're like super out of shape, and everyone is like ripped, and you have this guy that, you know, his biceps are like the size of your trunk, kind of thing. Or this like fuck hell, dude.
Yeah.
But it's a good place. And what I mean is, like, when you have those people that are really into it, I'd rather go to that gym than to a commercial one.
Yeah.
I think you get more assholes and people that are like judgmental in those like smaller ones than in the ones that people are just really at it.
I also think, like, as an out of shape male, you get life a lot easier in the gym than like an out of shape female. Like, females are like way harsher on each other than like for all this kind of thing that, you know, you get like the recent sort of things where people are saying like men are pigs and all this kind of stuff. Like, other men like I see a shredded dude in the gym and they don't look me up and down like I'm a piece of shit or whatever and sort of thing. And like and likewise they'll give you help or they'll
where you're like you're struggling and they come like and
help you last year.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. In shape dudes are generally really encouraging to non in shape people to try to help them, right? Whereas I feel like
usually, I mean, you get a couple.
Obviously, generalization.
Like that guy, I had a problem with,
but I for sure see, like, you know, like, or I've got female friends and my girlfriend and stuff where she says when she's gone to that gym with me at times, she's like, yeah, I hate it there. The girls just look at me horribly, and I believe that. I see it. They're just like, I feel like in a weird way, just general rules again, but like women tend to often see other women as threats, and men don't necessarily always see, like, do you know what I mean? Like a kind of, maybe with ignorance. Like, I look at a really shredded dude in the gym and I don't look at him like, oh, he's like a threat to me type thing, in the sense of gonna, you know, I don't know, make me feel less of a great guy or whatever sort of thing. But I think some women for sure will be a case of they see other women that are, you know, in shape or trying to better themselves in the gym as a threat of, you know, in some form of insecurity and stuff. And it's kind of, and that's what I think. There's a lot of things you can read as well where they just say that, yeah, some of the things, the way women treat other women online is horrendous, right? It's like, but yeah, that's I guess that's another discussion topic there.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, because I've also seen guys post things, very weird things about women wearing the.
Oh, for sure. I it's a fair point. I think men. There are men online that will treat women bad as well.
No, but online, I've seen people that like.
But you rarely see a woman say a picture of a man. This guy's hideous, or
But I've seen some guys that are like. Maybe I'm a bit like, because I don't care about people, mate. Like, you can do whatever, and if I like you, I like you, and that's that. And your body's your body. I couldn't care less, right? Of course, when you see someone who's in shape, you're like, oh man, it's like a nice
impressive for sure. Yeah,
it's fucking impressive. Yeah.
Because you appreciate the work involved, takes, right? Yeah, exactly.
Because I've been like going to gym. I've tried to eat well, and I've been up and down like up to 20 kilos many times. Like, I know that if I go at it, I can do it. But I just love eating and drinking and these kind of things, right? So that's
that's the catch, isn't it? Yeah.
You at some point reach a level, you're like, maybe I should back down, lose 10 kilos, and like. Eventually you might gain them back and whatever, but you know what it takes to be like that. So it's for me, it's like this kind of like fucking hell, man, like
Yeah,
crazy. Yeah,
I respect the work that's gone involved
100%.
into it for sure. Yeah, exactly.
But in no world you see someone that's like struggling in the gym, and you're like, huh, look at him, he's trash.
No, for sure.
See, I think it's completely the opposite, right?
Yeah,
you see someone that's massive, completely out of shape, like going at it, and you're like, hey, good for you, mate.
Yeah, definitely. Like that. The last thing we sort of like close this out really, but yeah, the similar thing is like I'm trying to get my fitness back, like, particularly like about 2 years ago or so. I remember starting running with Liam. Obviously, you know, that friend of mine who does like Ironman competitions and stuff like that. Like,
but he's tryhard.
Yeah, he's massive tryhard for sure. But massively into running since a kid. Did like cross country running, all that stuff. Anyway, long story short.
Okay, about respect.
Yeah. He dragged me out to go do some track running training like a couple of years back. Hadn't done any like fitness in years, and we did like I'm heavy dude. At the time I was like 124 kilograms give or take, and basically it was like, right, let's do some jogging on the track. So I just do super slow, man. It would come back quickly. We decided to do like I don't remember exactly. He had some sort of thing planned out for me, but it was all I know was I was jogging the straights of the track and walking the bends. It was like jog, walk round, jog, walk round, and we did that for like a while. And he said it got to the point where we'd done about 4 kilometers in distance traveled, including walk run. Right, so I guess 2K running, 2K walking. And by the end of the session, my calves felt pretty like were burning a bit, but I was good. And the next morning I woke up and my ankles and knees, like I could barely walk. I was in pain, right? And that persisted for like months. I remember having ankle pains and for like ages.
It is a problem, mate. Like for example, because I was last time, I've been doing. Actually, I've seen Ash a couple times. I go sometimes to this park run.
Yeah,
like 5K run on Saturdays.
Yeah.
And I've been going there. Like last year, I was there more often. I was more in shape, and I was going to a gym and stuff. Now, I haven't been so much because of the arm kind of thing. But I was reading then the weight is a way bigger factor.
Oh, massively.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, massively.
Because like most of the going forward takes very little energy. They're going up,
it's up and
like
down.
it's getting off the ground.
It's gravity, isn't
like
it, mate?
Hard,
it's gravity. Gravity's the bitch.
But for example, I was last time I went to run, I was 124. This year, last time I went for a run, I think it was like, not the last one, but the one before. I hadn't run for over 6 months.
Right.
And I went there without any training, without any warming up, I was like, I'm gonna go run at 116.
Right.
That means 8 kilos, right? That's what I've lost. I probably have gained a bit this couple weeks, but I had lost 8 kilos since January. After 6 months without running, go for it. Bam. Personal record.
Yeah. The weight for sure.
The weight is the thing that's like
massively.
Yeah, 100%.
That's what we sort of been talking about. So I was sort of saying that like so I'm planning to do there's a 10K, like there's a half marathon, Tampere half marathon or marathon in September.
Marathon, bro. That's.
I'm not gonna do it like around my birthday. There's some like running event where they got these things, right, and the main event's like a half marathon or a marathon. I can't remember.
Could it be the Puniki run?
It could be.
Because Petra did that 10K last time.
It could.
They went for a walk with the theater people.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So my goal is that I want to do that 10K basically. But I was chatting with Liam. He was like, "Well, we should probably do a 5K first to just get it hammered." But the point is sort of like that. Yeah. But like I've got this almost like this. I'm a bit anxious to get or anxiety of running because the last time I just couldn't walk for like 3 weeks. I'm like, but so when you see like a real fat dude, like I see him, I'm respectful when I see dudes way bigger than me, like huge dudes, like really fat, absolutely like gunning, like running down the street, like jogging away, like really struggling. I'm just thinking like, I don't know how they do it, you know.
I saw one. Yeah. I don't remember I think he was in Mexico. I don't remember where I saw him, but I don't remember if he was in Spanish. If it was, then it was Mexico. But he was like a 200 kilos dude, 150 or 160, like something insane. And he ran a 10K run, and he wrote on his t-shirt, like, I'm 150 kilos and I'm ahead of you.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Because he was not the last one, mate. And it's like, that's insane.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
But yeah, so it's I think this is a reasonable spot to wrap up. We discussed the main bit of the TikTok. We'll talk more of these, especially the Piers Morgan ones. I guess I'll send you a video next or whatever, and we'll get into that next part because there's quite a few triggering but interesting topics to talk about. And for anyone who has always made it this far, let us know what you think about the TikTok trends, and do you think it's cool? Do you think people that maybe I'm wrong? Maybe the people that just reenact what everyone else is doing out there, maybe that's really cool and I'm just a boring old man, which is certainly plausible. But yeah, for those of you that watched, thank you very much for joining us. Rene, always a pleasure, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah,
thank you.